There was another NFL record that was tied yesterday, and there's a little controversy behind this. So this one's interesting. So the Broncos are playing the Ravens, and Baltimore's got a legendary rushing attack. They have a running quarterback. So for the past 42 games, they've had at least 100 yards rushing as a team. That's a pretty good streak. That's 2.5 years. So they were on the verge of tying the all-time record on Sunday. They needed 100 yards, and they would tie the 1970s era Pittsburgh Steelers, Franco Harris, Rocky Bleier, right? Tie them for the most consecutive games of a team rushing for at least 100 yards. Now, they're winning the game 23-7. It's over. They take over the ball in the final seconds, and it's an automatic victory formation, right? You go there, Lamar Jackson gets the ball, takes a knee, game over. John Harbaugh knew, the coach of the Ravens, knew they were 4 yards shy of the record, so he puts his offense out there. They run a real play. Lamar Jackson buys a little time, finds a little opening, picks up 4 or 5 yards. They tie the record. They get exactly 100 or 101, and they're in the record books. They're tied, so next week they have the record all to themselves. So Vic Fangio, the coach for the Broncos, got all bent out of shape, right? He's old school. He had a problem with that. His quote was, "I thought it was kind of bullshit, but I expect it from them." 37 years in pro ball, and I've never seen something like that, but it was to be expected. We expected it. Grow up. I mean, if something like that is going to bother you so much, maybe you should go back to being an assistant coach the rest of your life. Give me a break. No one was bothered by that at all. That's an incredible achievement, a team achievement. What's wrong? He didn't bury your nose in it. They didn't score a touchdown and run over to you and spike the ball in your face. 4 yards at the end of the game. I mean, this reminds me of old school baseball mentalities where they broke the code. John Harbaugh needs to be hit with a pitch next week. Maybe they could throw a football at him, right? I mean, Gerard, I can see you building
John Harbaugh needs to be hit with a pitch next week. This is absolute bullshit, and I will tell you why, Tom, because I'm old enough to remember when Greg Schiano was the head coach of Tampa Bay, and he had his guys playing through the whistle.
I remember that too.
And the teams would go and they'd take a knee in the final minute, and he'd have guys submarining getting in there, and every coach in the world said, "That's BS. What are you doing? You're trying to get people hurt out here. Play the game with integrity." This was not playing with integrity. Listen, you can't have it both ways, guys. You cannot have. This reminds me of like when I believe it was J.R. Smith. He was one rebound away from a triple-double one day, and he took the inbounds pass with like 12 seconds left, threw it up against his own backboard, grabbed it, so he got the triple-double on the rebound. This goes kind of back to what we were saying. I think anything that happens inorganically is BS. Anything that happens inorganically is nonsense. If I were Fangio and they did that, then I'm like, okay, that's how you guys want to play it. I'm diving in there in the next play.
Oh, no. Diving in there, diving low like Schiano's guys used to. Huge difference.
You want to play that way?
Huge difference between the two.
You want to play that way?
I thought, Gerard, you'd be on the side of that you wouldn't have a problem with it.
No,
not at all.
No, Gerard, here's why I disagree. Because
you want to play, okay, you want to play it that way? Let's play it that way.
Running for 4 yards, that's all he did. He didn't try to hurt anybody.
Out of victory formation?
No, they did not run it out of victory.
They didn't line up in victory formation.
They ran a real play, and the Broncos knew it was. He said he was expecting it. He should know it was coming. No one was in jeopardy of being injured.
I'm going to strike you maybe to the core, New York Giants, because I grew up in New York Giants.
Let's do it.
Michael Strahan, right?
Hated it.
Brett Favre.
Hated it.
Right.
Hated it. Still don't think Strahan has the record to this day.
So there's consistency.
Hated it.
Okay.
Hated it.
Do you think Favre went down on purpose?
Absolutely. Not only that, but the right tackle, was it Bakhtiari? It wasn't Bakhtiari back then. Whoever the right tackle was, I heard was beyond livid. Because he made it his job to make sure that he was not going to give up that sack.
Right.
And he held down a Hall of Famer whose only goal that whole day was to get one sack, hold him to nothing. And then Favre gives him a cherry. And Favre, to this day, says it was a blown call. Shut up, Favre.
Inconsistent or not, I draw a distinction between team goals or team records and individual records. So someone throwing up the ball off the backboard to get that 10th rebound, that's all individual. The Baltimore Ravens are taking pride in a team-oriented record. So
that they didn't
it goes
get.
Beyond.
That they didn't get.
No, they did. They did get it.
They didn't get it.
They got it.
Come on, man. They didn't get it. That's
the
nonsense,
official box score says they do have it.
But if they were down by 10 points, they'd probably be throwing the ball and not running.
Let's go back. Let's go back to the Giants. I have nothing but respect for Eli Manning because apparently when it came out that Geno Smith was going, they wanted to give Geno Smith some snaps. The plan was Manning was going to start the first half of the last 3 games, and then Geno Smith would come in the second half so that he could keep his record, right? And Manning, to his credit, goes, absolutely freaking not. Either I'm the quarterback or I'm not. And they said, well, then Geno Smith's the quarterback. And he's like, all right, then Geno Smith's the quarterback. I have respect for that.
Yeah, but
I got nothing but respect for that.
I don't think you can lump what happened yesterday in that game with some of these other analogies. Like, I feel bad for that left tackle or whoever it was for the Packers because that's a highlight that's going to be played forever, right? And if that record wasn't legit or if Favre did take a dive, I mean that hurts him in contract negotiations.
Let me ask you this, Tom. If they were at 101, okay, let's inverse it. If they were at 101 yards and the Broncos decided that they were going to all out zero blitz,
right, to hold him from
get him from 100 to 99, would you say that that's dog shit? Would you say that that's Bush League being zero blitzing with 15 seconds to go, down by 10?
Borderline.
So there you go.
Yeah, but there's a difference because
there's a difference because you like offense.
No, they weren't humiliating the other team. They really weren't. Now, if they were looking to set the all-time scoring record or tie the all-time scoring record, and they had a 30-point lead, and they dust off, their top running back who had been sitting for 2 quarters and bring him in to get one last score, that's humiliating the other team.
Yeah, George brings up a good point, but I guess the reason why we're falling prey, Tom, to your argument is that it's probably the 900th most important NFL record there is. Nobody cares.
Hey, thanks so much for checking out that short clip from Sports Now with Tom Zenner. If you want to see another short clip, click right here. Or if you want to see the entire episode, click right here. Thanks for watching, everybody.